Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Everyone together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Gaura Premanande, Hari 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 Bo, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.
Whoa, what's happening here? Hare Krishna. So, very warm welcome to all of you. It's so nice to see so many who came today. Especially, I was very happy also to see many Langenthal devotees who came. Now that Maharaj decided only to come to Zurich. And of course, a very special welcome to His Holiness Sacinandana Swami Maharaj. Hari Bol! So first of all, we would like to make a little space in the back. We have so many devotees who want to come in. If you please all move closer. So herzlich willkommen zum heutigen Sonntagsfest. Jemand, der eine Übersetzung ins Deutsche braucht, die Vorlesung wird in Englisch stattfinden. Good, everyone understands English. So, dear devotees, I would just like to briefly introduce His Holiness Sacinandana Maharaj. As most of you know him very well. His own Sacinandana Swami is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, a sannyasi, a traveling preacher, who is also initiating guru in ISKCON. And he's coming to the temple in Zurich for many, many years, guiding the devotees in their spiritual life. Maybe one thing which will be interesting also, anyone here for the first time, please, if you can raise your hand. We have a few. Welcome. Welcome. Very nice. Hare Krishna. So, we just had a bhakti retreat in the mountains with Sacinandana Swami, and those of you who were attending that retreat, you might remember on the last day, Maharaj said, now the bhakti retreat part 1 is over, now part 2 will start. And I was first wondering, what does he mean? And he explained that we have heard so many things in the lectures from the different speakers, and now we are meant to apply it in life. And so we asked Maharaj if he can please today speak about temple, a place of worship, service, and Sangha, as the temple as a place where we can keep connected to devotional service, keep connected to the devotees, and in this way also apply what we have heard in the retreat. We know a retreat usually lasts not so long. That was a 1 week, and now we have 1 year more to go until the next retreat starts. So the temple is definitely a wonderful place where we can come and nourish ourselves. So thank you very much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Also very warm welcome from my side. I think the warmness is already in the atmosphere due to the summer, but I'm very happy to be here. I used to come here very often, and I have seen the journey the temple took from the very beginning, when it was looking almost like a ghostly haunted place when we first obtained use of this, and then how it has changed, both in terms of the beautiful interior and the altars, but it has changed also in terms of the devotees who lived here. Throughout the temple's, let us say, busy history, interesting history, one thing has not changed. Thank you. That is the altar with deities who are worshipped here very steadily and regularly. Do you remember for how many years? Maybe Krishna Prema Rupa has a long time.
Shishigolita was installed in 74.
Since 74.
Jagannath 84.
74. Many of you were not born at that time, no? So, yes, so that has not changed the deities on the altar and the worship. So many things have changed. The rooms, the decoration of the rooms, the population of the temple, the congregation, but Krishna has remained the same. In my little talk today, I would like to speak about what we can do when we visit the temple, and how we can, so to say, unearth the treasures of what a temple has to give to us. One way to look at spirituality is to look at it like what is it called? Archaeology, where you go deeper and deeper, and finally you unearth the artifact and free it from the ground, and then you might have a very important finding. I do know in Ulm, Germany, archaeologists found the lion man. It's a half man, half lion figure, which has raised the absolute interest of the archaeological society, because they didn't know who's the lion man until they met the devotees who supplied to them scriptures and said that there is an incarnation of Krishna, half man, half lion, who's worshipped since a long, long time in temples as Nrsingadev. And then they became Nrsingadev in Germany? Oh, how interesting. And then some scholars provided the archaeological department of Ulm with maps that show that in ancient time Germany, or that area, was counted as Harivarsha, a place where Hari or Narahari or Nrsingadev is worshipped. It was quite a sensation. This finding is at least 80,000 years old. 80,000. By the dating process, they have found it's so old. But what I found even more interesting than the age of this deity is the understanding that in different parts of this planet Earth, there are different forms of the Lord which are worshipped there, and they are, so to say, the owners of the place, the supervisors of the place. And when you are managing to make contact with these powerful deities, then you can unearth or free your own hidden spiritual treasures. Yes, this I found interesting. So I would like to talk today about and make all of you spiritual archaeologists who start to dig and make their own spiritual findings by visiting this temple where the Lord is worshipped. So that's my plan. But before I start, I would like to sing. Why not? Another song. Very brief song. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Gopi Jana Yasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Vihari Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. There is a great difference between religion and spirituality. Religion is often about belonging to a group with certain values, prayers, means of worship. And spirituality, quite differently, is concerned with transforming or purifying the heart. It's a very individual, authentic path, the spirituality. Whereas in religion, for the sake of belonging, we may dress in a certain way, we may have certain times when we visit the temple or the church to make sure that no one will look at us as an unreligious person because we didn't show up and all. The purpose of spirituality is connection, deep connection with God, with Krishna, which will absolutely affect our entire inner horizon. It's easy to change the name. I'm no longer Samuel, but now I'm Sacinandana Swami. It's very easy to change the hairstyle. It only needs a good barber, and you have a haircut like this. It's a little bit more difficult, perhaps, to change one's clothing. I notice many of you have found it more convenient to be in Western dress. Absolutely okay. But what all of us find difficult is to change our heart. That is the true mission of human form of life, to come from a more selfish or self-centered person to a lover, to a lover of God and all his parts. This takes some time. Now the temple can assist us in this, and visiting a temple can really take care that a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, or that an ordinary person can develop a golden and pure heart. And I would like to tell you or present to you something which I read many years ago. It's the 5 elements of a perfect temple visit. like when you have these elements in place, then your temple visit will make you experience the experience of enlightenment. Now, I must confess to you that I always like to visit temples and still do so. When I come to the area of Vrindavan, where there are, in the town alone, you find 33,000 temples. Yes, 33,000. That's not a small number. But all over the area distributed, you find really an immense wealth of temples. Some temples are small, they are under earth even. I have found this underground temples. They have built this because it can get very hot there, and under the earth it's a little bit cooler. Some temples are in the hollow of a tree. Other temples are situated at the bank of a sacred river, and there is always a bell, bang, 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 which sounds every hour. And then when there is worship time, I saw the bell was sounding differently than other times, and I was surprised to see dogs were coming, cows were coming, and one cobra came to participate in the evening worship, the aratik. In other words, I've seen many temples and many temple residents, and I always like to, when I am somewhere, go to this, go to these places of worship, because I have always seen, no matter how this temple is or in what particular confession it is, you can deeply get something. For instance, we were at our retreat place in the Kiental just now. Some of you were with us, and most of you have seen the chapel. There's a beautiful chapel which is placed at a very beautiful location. I heard it's old. Not this chapel, it is newly constructed, but it's constructed on the same place where the very old chapel was. And I heard that the monks at that time had knowledge how to build these churches, temples, places of worship at places that were energy points, were different energy, how do you call this? Bahnen, what? Radiance, yeah, some under earth, these things, also wie sagt man, Erdströme in German, what meet. And I did most of my chanting at that place. I sat on a bench, and this morning I came to say goodbye to my chapel, knowing that I would now go into the Netherlands, die niederen Ebenen, where I would visit Zurich, and I really noted something as I came to this beautiful little chapel. The doors went open, and out came a lady who was crying. I asked, "Are you crying because some marriage problem?" "No, I'm crying with happiness. God showed himself to me." Yes, in that chapel. I said, yes, this is a good place. God also, I go here every morning and I chant for 2 hours His name, and I feel that this is a good place to do this. Oh yes, oh yes. So temples or churches have something special to offer to us, but it also depends a little bit in what mood we visit them. There are 3 dimensions at least of a temple. One is the building with the interesting domes here in Zurich. The building is also quite interesting. We have a Sudarshan chakra. Is it on the top of the temple, and it's really distinct from all the villas around us, and the interior architecture. It's also nice. What to speak of this room with the elephants who are trumpeting. Wonderful. There are the walls and the building, temple building. Then inside of them you find, and that's perhaps a second dimension of a temple, people who have stories to tell, stories of how they worshipped, how they had deep spiritual insights, realizations, etc. People from whose stories we can learn a lot. I can imagine if I would ask Krishna Prema Rupa or Damodar Prasad to tell us stories of their life in the temple, we wouldn't find a stop bottom. They have lots of realizations, lots of things which they saw, miracles perhaps on the altar, things which we call Krishna miracles, you know. And then there is still another dimension, and as I will say in this temple, the most important dimension, there is an altar, and on the altar we find the holy, das Heilige, as Rudolf Otto would say. We find deities, Gonitai and Jagannath, and these deities can talk to you. I saw when I was in London, I was very new to Krishna consciousness. I had come to London to see the Rolling Stones, and that was one of my secret agendas. I think you do not know what that is. Rolling Stones, is that Govardhan or? So I had come there, and I had also come. I had two agendas to see Srila Prabhupada, the spiritual master, our spiritual master. And what I noticed when Srila Prabhupada was there, every morning after he had given his lecture, he would stand before the deities and he would talk to them and listen to them. He would stand before the altar and have a talk with God. At that time, we were not in the temple room. We went in the souterrain, where we would take our morning breakfast. And he was alone in the temple, and he requested also if it's possible to be alone. And I was once hiding in the temple room because I'm a little curious by nature, and I did hear him talking to the deities. I didn't hear the answers, though, because I understood you need spiritual senses, awakened senses, enlightened senses, to hear perhaps the answer. Yes. And later, very often he remarked, you can talk to God and he will give you answers. He might give you answers by speaking in your heart. You leave the temple like the lady today in the chapel whom I met in the morning, who really was so happy because she had received her answer which she needed. So three dimensions: the walls of the temple, the outer appearance, which you can make a photo of, the very nice temples in South India, which are architectural masterpieces. There are the residents who live there and who study spiritual scriptures and who have dedicated at least a certain portion of their life for serving the Lord, more or less 24 hours. And then you find the altar, and on the altar you find the Lord. Now, to visit the temple, the Pancharatrika scriptures tell us that there are 5 processes which are necessary to make your visit, how do you say, successful. See, can you give me your machine? This is a machine. I do not know if you know there is an app with artificial intelligence. You can ask it anything you want and you will get brilliant answers. It researches all the books, all the talks, all the articles which were given on a certain subject. For instance, tell us about a Hare Krishna temple in Zurich, and immediately it's beautifully located amongst the rolling hills near the Zurich lake and blah blah and so on, and it can do something. But if this mobile telephone goes to the altar, I doubt it will pray. I doubt you can preach to it and enlighten it. It is only a data processing. It's a machine which has access to data processing. But we as human beings can prepare our visit to the temple in such a way that the Lord will speak to us. Is that a good program, Vrajarani? Would you like to know how to do that? We can't make artificial intelligence do this. We have to do it with human intelligence. So my dear people, the first is abhigamana. That means, how do you approach the temple? That includes functions like taking a bath before, so that you are cleansed. It means putting on fresh cloth, ornamenting the body with sacred items, a tilak. I know some of you find it so tiring to put on tilak, you rather like to tattoo a tilak on your arms, as you wish. It means you can, when you go to the temple, you can clean it a little, clean the stairs maybe. So you prepare your entry into the sacred realm of the temple. No? You just don't go so running. You should, in old times, you would do then the second thing. It is called upadana, gathering articles for worship. It's an old rule. When you visit a sacred center, don't come empty-headed. You know, there should be something in some spiritual idea, some request, some concern, some intention, but also don't come empty-handed. Not empty-headed and not empty-handed. When you come, bring something like perhaps the fruits which are in the season. Plums are very good in Switzerland at the moment. What else is in the season? Apples? Are apples already ripe? No. Berries, yes, these red strawberries in the Swiss forests, beautiful. Bring something like tulasi leaves and so on. Bring something. Don't come empty-headed. That what you did you prepared yourself. Now bring something. And then the third process, while in the temple, and I must say I like this so much, it is yoga. Yoga means primarily here, not some asana, not that all of us now go into the headstand and this is how we do our temple visit. Yoga means also connection. No, we try to make a connection. In making a real connection with Krishna, you must make sure that the real you speaks. Have you been in conversations where you have the feeling the person who speaks to me is not talking real things which are on the mind? And have you felt perhaps, oh, I would like to end this conversation as quick as possible, because it's not real, it's just talk, without the person has not connected with himself or herself. When you want to make connection, a divine connection and higher connection, make sure the real you speaks. For this, the scriptures have a complicated process, but it can go very simple and very quick also. And I might do that with you in a moment. It's the Buddha Shuddhi process, where Buddha Shuddhi means you throw off your masks, the material elements, the material roles which you perhaps play, the wrong identification. I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm a Swiss person, I'm an American person, I'm old, I'm young. You come really as at the soul. I'm an eternal part of you, the Lord. It's a short meditation, and I think we should do it in a little moment. I will request Krishna to go up in my room and get the living name. No, it's you can. Also establishing yoga goes very easy with certain sound keys. Have you noted when we chanted Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya? You could call that sound keys. It brings you, it opens something in you, the sacred dimension. Could you feel that? As a powerful? No, I will not forget the Zurich temple now for the next 50 years or so. I will remember that Sunday program where you chanted so nicely. It was extraordinary how you chanted. It's so this, by this sound, spiritual sound, that's why we always like to sing in the temple. We can connect we can establish a connection between us who call out to the Lord who's on the altar. And yes, this is called yoga. Then the fourth item is worship of the Lord. This refers first of all to what the priests will do. This evening I heard we will sing some more, is that true? And then there will be a priest offering an Aratic ceremony. It's a very interesting ceremony. The priest has a plate, and there on the plate he will put an incense, a lamp, a conch shell with water, a flower, a fan, etc. And what he will do is he will offer the whole universe to Krishna, because the incense and the flower represents the element earth, the fire, the lamp, and when it's lit, represents the element fire. Then you have the element water, which is offered in this very nice conch shell, very cooling. And the element air, which is used by offering a fan, and then ether, or the space. And that's offered when the priest takes a bigger conch shell, sometimes like this, with an opening, and blows into it. It sounds almost like an Alpenhörnli, you know. Very beautiful. It cleanses the space, the element ether, and therefore stands for ether. For the devotee of Krishna, this whole universe is a potential thing to offer to Krishna. It is, the materialists will look at the world in order to enjoy it for himself. the ascete and jnani and yogi will look away from the world, being afraid to get entangled in its complexity, and the devotee just uses the world on an arctic plate, so to say, and worships it. So this is just one ceremony which I described, where you bring the world in contact with the Lord. And the fifth item of good temple visit is svadhyaya, or the study of scriptures. You can see the devotees of Krishna in the morning. There's a regular time set aside. I think in this temple it's about 7:45 to 9 o'clock, where there is a reading of a scripture. And in the evening, when we are not outside in the temple, or outside from the temple, maybe at the Suri Lake, or if we are not lazy, sometimes we are lazy, that can happen, we read the Bhagavad Gita. So by studying these ancient scriptures, we will understand more of what is spiritual life, and our consciousness will be raised, so to say, from this level where most of us are active. I call it the level where one tyrant rules, the tyrant of the so-called urgent things which need to be done. The tyranny of the 1,000 urgent things, you know. But the scriptures will lift us up from the small mind, if you so want, where we are so concerned about the daily things, and we enter the big mind where we see Krishna. So would you like me to repeat these, thank you, these 5 aspects of the perfect temple visit?
Yes.
Yes, why? Just to remember it better, no? So the first is abhigamana, which means the preparations which you do before you enter the temple. Have you seen in the before temple rooms there is usually a bell? Do we have a bell here also? The bell has two. You ring the bell before you enter the temple. It has 2 functions. One thing, it says stop. Just concentrate now, you're entering a sacred space. And the second function is it announces your visit to the Lord inside the temple. I'm coming now. Cling. So these are preparatory things. Then you should also come full-handed. Bring something. Fruit is best. Fruit, things which can be used in the worship by the priests. You can ask them what is good to bring. You will hear honey, ghee, which comes from cows that are not slaughtered. There are such cows in Switzerland, I learned. Then you go and establish a yoga, a connection. That is when you go before the temple, before the deities, you pray and make sure the real you is there. And then there's the worship of the Lord, and finally the svadhyaya, or the studying of the scriptures. When you learn to visit the temple in this way, something very amazing will happen in due course of time. It's called in Latin contemplio, or being with a temple or in a temple. Contemplio translates into English as contemplation. What this means is that a person who has a deep spiritual thought will feel him or herself always in the presence of the Lord. Even if he goes with a bus through Zurich or with a car and so on, he will feel the Lord's presence. When you make contact with Krishna, in other words, in the temple, he will come with you and associate with you and accompany you. Think of it like going into a perfume shop. When you go into a perfume shop, at least in Tehran, in Persia, I did this once. I needed to, not for myself, I don't use perfume, but for our deities, we went there and we they have very good rose fragrance. So if you come into the perfume shop and you get your rose perfume for the deities and so on, when you leave it, everyone will notice, wow, you smell cool. They will say, the people will say to you, when they're young people, they will say like this, but you bring with you the fragrance of the perfume shop. So when you visit the temple and you are really there and not just not the real you is there, you just in your mind, in your head, and you are not opening yourself and your heart. But if you're really doing that, then all of your life, all the people which you meet, everyone will be affected and will say, you have really an effulgence. You have really something to share. I felt this when I saw this elderly lady coming out of the chapel. She brought something out of the building which I will never forget. Yes, she was from a Christian tradition, but that doesn't matter. She had visited the chapel like a real spiritual seeker and had gotten something which most probably was not there. I want to encourage you to also do this, so that you can enter into this beautiful next dimension perhaps in your spiritual life, is to always remember Krishna and never forget him. The art of contemplation, where you are always inside the temple wherever you go. So let me end now. I said the real you should enter the temple and make contact with Krishna. There are a few things which the real you does. Service is the first. When we come to the temple, let us see if we can render some service in the temple. This can take different forms, like for instance cleaning the temple or helping in the various aspects of, we have a garden here. That is a very, very traditional service, to take care of Krishna's garden, so that he can be offered nice flowers and all. You can serve also by serving the purpose of the temple. You can take flyers and distribute them wherever there are people gathering who are spiritually open, who are likely to find interest. You can take books and place them into book stores or distribute them to people on the. You can identify with the purpose of the temple, the outreach of the temple, or you can do what is for many the easiest, to offer some percentage of your income for the temple and the worship there. No? So you can there are programs which the temple has where that is possible. You can inquire from the devotees here; they can tell you. Seva. You can also utilize the temple by coming here. This temple room is not always so full. It is during the week there is a very peaceful atmosphere. I always think the temple room is the most peaceful atmosphere in the town, and you can sit there and you can read a spiritual book, or you can chant the names. So you can do your spiritual practice there that is very nice. That's how you can take advantage of the temple. You can tell also your friends and say, I know a real spiritual place in Zurich. You won't believe it. It's in Bergstraße 54. And then the person says, but that's where only the rich people live. That's not a temple. You can say, no. There's spiritually rich people are there. And this way, get people to come. Whatever it is, I request you, when you come to the temple, to go from the external to the internal. In some old temples, there is a certain architecture. You enter first the hall. It's a big place that represents the body. Then you enter a smaller hall that is representing the mind. And then you see there a still smaller room at the end of these two bigger rooms, and that is the space of the soul, where on the altar you find the Lord. So I always think this gives us a good journey. When we come to the temple, we bring our body, that's our vehicle, we take the shoes off so that the dust of the world doesn't come inside. Then we become thoughtful, we center ourselves, we go into the temple room, and then we look at the altar and pray or sing or worship or do this Buddha Shuddhi yoga. What do you think? There's so much in this. So wonderful. So I know you will forget everything you heard the moment you leave this room. I know you, so therefore I want to do something unforgettable with you. Is that all right?
Yes.
Good. Everyone get ready. This gets very good. I would like you all to turn in this direction of the altar. We do a little preparations here. Good. I request you to find a comfortable sitting position where you can sit tall. Try to have a spine that is straight, no? That's good. It opens your whole system for what we are going to do now. And then take a few deep breaths. Bring your awareness to each inhale And also remain with your breath when you exhale. You can count to number of 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, when you inhale, as you continue to breathe consciously, long and slow breaths, you will feel your mind become calm and focused. Should any distracting thoughts or feelings arise, no problem. Gently let them go. They come and go like clouds in the clear sky. And always return to the simple breathing, where you breathe with awareness, or breathe with awareness. If you feel ready, please close your eyes now. And in your mind's eye, contemplate these truths. I'm actually a part of Krishna. I'm at the moment in this body and the mind, but I'm not the body, and I'm different from my mind. I'm a tiny soul, a blissful spiritual being. I'm actually part of Krishna. Now, next, try to connect in your mind with Krishna, or if you know him as God or the source or a divinity, no? And tell yourself, Krishna is the infinite conscious entity and my only master, Lord and best friend. I'm here in this material world to re-establish my connection with Him, and I will do this now by singing to Him. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody. hope I don't disturb you. Please turn again in the other direction. Thank you so much. That was very impressive. Wonderful. So this last exercise, my dear everyone, it was in the department of yoga, or to be more precise, bhakti yoga. We became aware of our identity, our spiritual identity as parts of Krishna, and then we turned to Him through songs, through chanting the holy name. This is one and perhaps the most important of these 5 processes. One item of is interesting when you look up for bhakti in the internet, is usually translated as devotion, as devotional surrender, perhaps, as love and so on. But there is a very deep dimension of bhakti which Srila Prabhupada stressed very much. He said bhakti means devotional service. No? It means you do service in a devotional mood. Not in a bitter mood, not in a thoughtless mood, in a devotional mood. This is explained in the Garuda Purana. It says the wise people have said that the root of bhakti, which is bhaj, means to serve. No? So it's devotional service, and therefore see how you can how you can find your place in connection with the temple. Some of us might do service very far away from the temple. You might be a TV man, and you might say in your TV talk show, there is the more than human dimension, and bring people to spiritual thought. Or if you live nearby here, you can come and render your service with devotion in various ways. And also, Prabhupada said the temple should be the place of worship and also of education, spiritual education, svadhyaya. And I have something for you, an invitation. Let me see. Next Friday, that is the 28th of July, yes, starts a very interesting seminar given by Urmila Mataji. It's a new word for me, career dharma, or the natural art of work, where she will speak about how you can find your place and what you could do in this world. It starts at 6:30 p.m., that is in the evening, and goes for 2 hours, and continues Saturday on the 29th of July, where it will take place from 11:30 to 3:30. So that is a little longer, that's 4 hours. I know that Urmila is a very talented presenter and has very deep points. So if you find time, next Friday from 6:30 to 8:30 here in the temple, the natural art of work. Good. Before I will end, I want to just say I'm very, very honored to introduce you to Govinda Dasi. This is Govinda Dasi with flowers in the hair. She carries an atmosphere with herself from the beginning of our movement. When Srila Prabhupada came to America, she's one of Prabhupada's first disciples, and has written and is a poet and an artist, and has written a very wonderful book on the early days of the movement. I don't know if you have copies here with you, Govinda Dasi? You have. So we can meet Govinda Dasi perhaps in one of the rooms. We don't have that many rooms, you will find her. And also with us today is Akandadi Prabhu, one of the pioneers of Krishna consciousness in England, and a personal friend of myself. Thank you very much for coming, Akandadi Prabhu. He has spearheaded many interesting works, and you can find him on YouTube in a TED Talk, which is not an ordinary TED Talk. It is, I have seen with a model, he explains perception must be a spiritual phenomena and cannot be reduced to the mechanic workings of the senses and the brain. I have seen with my own eyes. So you can find out, you can talk to him, you can find out perhaps the link. It is a very convincing TED Talk on that we are not the body, not just the body, we have a body, but there is a spirit soul inside, in a scientific way, very convincing. You can ask him also where to find this and other of his presentations on spirituality and science. Good. So, I don't know, it's so nice with all of you that we don't feel like getting up from this seat. Maybe it's also the heat of the summer. What should we do now? What? Perhaps you have some enlightening questions. Yes, if you have. Yes, Radha Kripa has one question.
Thank you very much.
We have invited ourselves to be yours and Jai Gopal's guests. I hope it's all right.
Yes.
We have to finish a book, so hard work is before us. Yes. Yes.
Yes. I have two questions actually. One is, as you mentioned, but briefly, the art of contemplation. So, if you could say something more, how to, when we stand in front of the altar here or at home, and then how to carry that awareness of the presence of the Lord when we are
Thank
not.
You. That's a wonderful question. How to carry that presence of the Lord with us when we are not in the temple. You briefly spoke of this as contemplation. But you must know that there are two types of meditation in our scriptures. One is called smriti and the other dhyanam. Smriti means to do something, to willfully, with an effort, bring the presence of the Lord into your mind. For instance, you will think, oh, I should think of Krishna. Yes, I think of a Bhagavad Gita verse. Aham savasya prabhavo. I'm the source of all that is, for instance. No? That is where you make an effort. But this will, as you mature by doing this, go into will form your consciousness so that you are always present to the presence of Krishna. You never feel separated from him. It's a little bit. You can feel this as a let us say new person to this art. We have all felt that. Do you remember these moments when you were in the kirtan and your mind did not think of distracting thoughts, and you actually felt, I'm so happy to be here, and I feel the Lord's presence in sound. You felt just elevated and so on. You just bathed, so to say, like a sun bather, a person who bathes in the sun. You were bathing in Krishna's presence and exposing your soul to his presence and so on. That is an art which can be learned actually. You can find out how you can first of all remember Krishna in various ways, and then you will always remember him. I would say the first, a skillful memory, is what I saw in in Stockholm. In Stockholm, we were doing a festival, and we had invited Srila Prabhupada, who was at that time in London, to come over for these 3 festivals, and he did so. And then in Stockholm town, that was the last festival. We started our little tour in Uppsala and then ended in Stockholm. And I still remember his lecture there. You must first of all imagine the scenario. There is the stage, Prabhupada sits there, gives a lecture, and I'm at the entrance because I have to watch and guard a suite called Vishnu Tattva. Why we brought, offered prasadam to the hall, and it was at the end. But at the end of the hall, there were also about 50 drunkards who were resting against the wall, just waiting until the lecture would be over. Perhaps like some of you who say, when do we eat now? So they were just watching there. And I was posted there to see that they didn't steal the sweet. It was me in the end who stole the sweet, you know, not the entire, but a good portion of it, because this Vishnu Tattva was the best sweet I've ever seen. Anyway, so Prabhupada noticed that 50 of his people, audience, were totally distracted, and he said, okay, even if you are a drunkard, you know, in English, in Sweden, everyone speaks English. So all of the 50 people on the wall started to look up. Even if you're a drunkard, you can become a big yogi, a great yogi. So, wow, that was something new. You just meditate that the taste in the liquor, that is Krishna. And by doing this, for good enough amount of time, you will become a great yogi. So this doesn't mean that for devotees this is the process, new process. No, this is for very beginning people on the spiritual path, not for you. Everyone has to abide by his level where he is presently. So this is the way you can remember the Lord. When you drink water, we drink water, the taste is water. So you practice this for some time, and then you will enter this feeling of, first it will start with feeling, oh, I'm loved the way I am. I'm okay. I'm okay. In Krishna's eyes, I'm basically okay. I am loved. I'm his part. On my way to of spiritual life, I will, of course, work on the things which I know are obstacles on my path. But Krishna loves me always. And this thought will give you some confidence in the Lord's presence, and you will move on. And then I remember Prabhupada, he was, at any time of the day, he would say these most surprising things, which showed you that he was really thinking about Krishna, or Krishna conscious subjects. I remember this one, I've told it 1,000,000 times, but I will tell it 1,000,001 time. I remember we were taking a morning walk through the Amsterdam Wandelpark, and Prabhupada all of a sudden stopped, because on the path he had seen this white piling from the bird, a bird had passed there, and it was white. So Prabhupada stopped before this. It was a white path. He could have gone around it. There was no... And he said, what does this mean? So we didn't want to say this was bird. I mean, the bird made a poop, you know, and so we didn't want to say that it was so ordinary. You know, you don't say this to a spiritually exalted person. Prabhupada, these are the remnants of the digestive process of bird. Prabhupada looked at the person who said this as if he would be the greatest. And he said, I know that, but what does this mean? Yeah, what does this mean? We were all looking, I still remember. Everyone was looking, and I thought, well, maybe I must look intensely, and I walked through the others. Maybe I can see a hitting meaning. Maybe like, you know, that there are some people who can read at the bottom of the teacup what is there, you know, maybe. No idea what this means. Then Prabhupada answered, see, this bird is very attached to the same place. This comes from 10 times dropping, you know. And even the bird is attached to his place on the tree. When you're not attached to Krishna, you must be attached to Maya. You know, so he was always surprising us with these amazing insights, even on a morning in Amsterdam in the Wonder Park, and yes, those. You can read in Govinda Dasi's books. She will tell you that you will read how extraordinary Prabhupada's perception and consciousness was. So our movement is called, maybe you've heard this before, movement for Krishna consciousness, no, not other consciousness. So you have to train yourself to bring yourself to this. Then our movement will turn into the spiritual world if we do that. Already it is very spiritual, but some path can be done. Fine. Anyone else? I know you have 2 questions, but we don't have perhaps so much time. No others are satisfied. We have someone who's newly initiated. What is your good? My question is, what is your name?
My name is Rasa Shreya Ramdas.
Oh my God, you have to still learn it. Yes. Wow, that is finally a name to fill up a line on a book, you know. Good. Rasheshwara Ram? Rasashraya. Ram. Ramdas. My God, this is a good name. A wonderful name. Rasas. Well, it seems really that we want to take prasadam. I will answer your second question personally, because if you can see the pulse of the crowd is prasadam is also there. So I thank you very much for being so long in this overcrowded but absolutely delightful temple room. I wish you a wonderful, let me say, journey in your spiritual life. Please take full advantage of this temple. Prabhupada reduced these 5 points, which may be complex for some of us, into 2. It's a place of worship and a place of spiritual education, where you can get spiritual information. No? That is the service of the temple. And please help us conduct our temple activities and inquire from our Damodar Prasad and our Krishna Prema Rupa about how you can be more connected to this temple. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful time, and yes, a good meal. It's good that we waited. The sun is a little down, so we can take prasadam outside on the lawn in the fresh breeze and talk with the devotees and so on. And, I'm hearing we continue the program. Now is a good size pause. When? 7 o'clock?
6:15. There's the japa meditation.
Oh, 6:15. Yeah, 6:15 is japa meditation if you want.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. You say you have a microphone.
Hare Krishna. So, first of all, I would like to thank you, Maharaj, for you mentioned that you're working on a book which you're finalizing, and that you're taking time out to come, even though you've just spent 1 week in Kiental. It means a lot to us. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna. His Holiness Sacinandana Swami Maharaj Ki Jai.
I must say, it's really all. I'm so grateful to be here. You can't believe I came to this temple from the very beginning, and just to see that it's there, that is functioning well, that it is a place to go when you live in Zurich, and to see the devotees, the bright-faced devotees, and to then go before the altar. It's just, I'm in ecstasy. I mean, it's really so nice. So you don't need to thank me. I need to thank you for keeping this temple up, and I think all of us should be grateful to the devotees in the temple. It's not so easy to keep this, to maintain the program. Do you know there are many artics offerings during the day, and day after day, week after week, the devotees keep this. They have the house open from morning till evening, and so many activities take place from there. Really, also all the devotees from the congregation, please look into your heart and find possibilities to support the temple in your life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So thank you, all dear devotees and guests, for coming today. Now, as Maharaj said, we're gonna serve a vegetarian feast in the garden outside. Please, you are all invited. And 6:15 we have a japa meditation in here, where you can learn how to chant the Hare Krishna mantra on prayer beads.
Wow.
So this is something you can do at home as well. And a devotee will show you how to actually do that. At 7 o'clock we have our Gora Arati with the worship of the deities, which will be accompanied by Kirtan. And then at 8 o'clock we again have Sacinandana Maharaj here in the temple room. He will be singing Kirtan until 9:30, I'm sorry, for 1.5 hours, and 9:15 there is again Arati where we see the deities. So please stay, come back, stay and participate. And Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. And once more, thank you Maharaj. His Holiness Sacinandana Swami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaura Premanandi Hare.